that this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
It's hard to believe, but the man who once ruled the charts, Sha Diddy Combs, has hit rock bottom, and it's happened in the most shocking way imaginable. Known for throwing the wildest parties and being a mogul in the music industry for over 3 decades, Diddy's glamorous life came crashing down when he was arrested on charges that left the whole world stunned. From being one of the most celebrated figures in hip-hop to facing years behind bars, this is a fall from grace like no other. And what's even crazier is how this man, who once seemed untouchable, is now on the brink of breaking down entirely.
That's not the issue. The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
Diddy's arrest wasn't just some minor incident. This was huge. The charges he's facing are seriously heavy. Law enforcement officials have been watching him closely for a long time, gathering evidence from various sources, including private conversations, messages, and testimony from those who had been around him. There had always been whispers about the behind-the-scenes life of Diddy, but no one really believed anything could touch him. After all, this is a man who built an empire from nothing. But even empires have their cracks, and Diddy's crumbled when the authorities got their hands on text messages and testimonies that pointed directly to his involvement in something far more sinister than anyone ever imagined.
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been described.
It was a regular morning in Manhattan when the news broke that Sean Combs had been taken into custody. The arrest made headlines around the globe, and for good reason. The charges included allegations of racketeering and harassment. And trust us, this wasn't some Hollywood movie. This was real, and the evidence against him was mounting fast. What started as rumors in the industry soon became a full-blown legal nightmare for Diddy. It's said that federal agents had been investigating him for months, piecing together a puzzle of shady activities and secrets that stretched back years.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
But the drama didn't end with his arrest. Once Diddy was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, the reality of his situation hit hard. Now, the Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, isn't exactly the kind of place you want to end up. It's infamous for its brutal conditions, a place where even the toughest individuals struggle to survive. This is no 5-star luxury retreat. This is a cold, harsh environment where you're lucky if you get the basics. In fact, there have been numerous reports condemning the facility for its inhumane treatment of inmates, ranging from lack of food to dangerous, overcrowded cells.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
The lockdowns are relentless, 24 hours a day, leaving people in complete isolation for days on end. And when you're someone like Diddy, who's used to living in multi-million-dollar mansions and jet-setting around the world, these conditions can take a toll faster than you'd imagine. Inside the MDC, Diddy's world has been flipped upside down. He's no longer the man with endless connections and a legion of fans. Instead, he's been reduced to just another inmate facing the brutal reality of life behind bars. And from what people close to him have said, it's clear that this place has broken him down in ways that nobody saw coming. Reports have surfaced that Diddy's physical and mental health have deteriorated rapidly since his arrest. It's no secret that he's been struggling with his new reality. Rumors suggest he spent much of his time in solitary confinement, deeply depressed and isolated from the outside world.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
Being trapped in a place like MDC with no one to turn to and no way to escape the harsh conditions has reportedly driven Diddy to a point of desperation. He's reached a breaking point. The man who once commanded rooms filled with the biggest celebrities and was untouchable in the industry is now faced with an entirely different challenge: survival. And this isn't just about surviving physically, but mentally as well. The isolation, the constant pressure, and the looming years in prison have reportedly pushed Diddy to consider doing something that nobody would have expected: cooperate with the authorities.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his homes.
And this is where things start to get really interesting. You see, Diddy has always been a man who knew how to play the game. Whether in the music industry or in his personal life, he's known how to maneuver himself out of tough situations. But this time, it's different. This time, he doesn't have the same power and influence that he once had. And now, facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison, he's making a desperate move to save himself.
That means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st. Right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.
According to insiders, Diddy has begun discussions with law enforcement to cut a deal that could shake the very foundation of Hollywood. Desperate to avoid spending years in a cell, he's reportedly offering up information that could implicate some of the biggest names in entertainment. It's being said that Diddy is ready to name names, expose the secrets that have been hidden for years, and turn on the very people who once considered him an ally. The man who once thrived on secrecy and power is now at the point where he's willing to spill it all to save himself.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
But what exactly is Diddy offering? That's where things get wild. Word on the street is that his infamous parties weren't just about fun and music. They were something much darker. For years, Diddy has been known for throwing the most exclusive and extravagant parties, but behind the scenes, it seems there was more going on than anyone knew. Some of the most shocking revelations that have come to light in recent months are from victims who claim these parties were much more than just a celebration. They were a way for Diddy to gather dirt on the rich and famous. These weren't just parties. They were traps designed to put people in compromising positions, and Diddy had it all on tape. That's right. Diddy allegedly kept recordings of what went on at these gatherings, and he's now using them as leverage to cut a deal with the FBI. It's said that Diddy has incriminating footage, secret conversations, and personal interactions involving some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the music industry. This is what he's offering to the authorities in exchange for leniency in his case. And while this may seem like a desperate move, it's actually a brilliant play. By handing over these recordings, Diddy could potentially bring down an entire network of celebrities, politicians, and influencers who attended his events, all while saving himself from a long prison sentence.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
This kind of information is exactly what the authorities are looking for, and Diddy knows it. His decision to cooperate could be a game changer, not just for him, but for the entire entertainment industry. Because if the rumors are true, this won't just be about Diddy. It will expose a whole network of high-profile individuals who have secrets they desperately want to keep hidden. And Diddy is willing to sell those secrets to the highest bidder, the FBI.
And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
And this is where we are now. Diddy, who once stood tall at the top of the entertainment world, is facing a decision that could have ripple effects across the entire industry. His time in the NDC has left him broken, desperate, and willing to betray the very people who once partied alongside him. As Diddy prepares to make his next move, the world waits to see what will happen next. Will he turn on his former friends and allies to save himself? Or is there more to the story than we know?
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy. Yikes. She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
What happens next is sure to send shockwaves through Hollywood, and it's only a matter of time before the full truth comes out. And believe us, when it does, it's going to be explosive. Diddy's fall from grace is just the beginning. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around how fast things have unraveled for Sean Diddy Combs. Just a few months ago, this man was living the kind of life that most people only dream about: private jets, luxurious mansion, endless parties with Hollywood's elite. But now, he's found himself in a nightmare scenario, facing serious charges and, most shockingly, about to spill all the secrets of the glittering world he once dominated. What's crazy is that his downfall doesn't just stop at him. Diddy's about to expose some of the biggest names in the industry, and it's sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months, as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
The truth behind those infamous Diddy parties is finally starting to come out, and it's darker than anyone ever imagined. For years, these events were the stuff of legend. Everyone knew if you got an invite to a Diddy party, you'd made it. They were exclusive, lavish, and always filled with the most famous faces in music, movies, and sports. But what people didn't know, or at least didn't talk about, was what really went down behind the scenes. Diddy's parties were more than just celebrations. They were carefully orchestrated events designed to gather dirt on the people attending. And now, in a bid to save himself, Diddy's spilling all the details. Let's start with the victims who have come forward. It's no secret that many who attended Diddy's legendary parties weren't there of their own free will. There have been numerous allegations from individuals who claim they were lured into these gatherings and placed in compromising situations. These people, some of them household names themselves, have shared horror stories about what went on. They've talked about being manipulated, pushed into dangerous scenarios, and even blackmailed. One story that's making the rounds involves someone who says they were invited to a party under the pretense that it would be a typical Hollywood bash, only to find out later that the whole thing was an elaborate setup to record them without their knowledge.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Diddy, being the power player that he was, allegedly used his influence to pull people into these situations. He'd make them feel comfortable like they were among friends. But as soon as things started getting out of hand, the cameras came out. People are saying that Diddy had his homes rigged with hidden recording devices, capturing everything that happened during these wild nights. And now, with his back against the wall, he's using that footage to his advantage. Rumor has it, he's been in talks with federal authorities, offering to hand over recordings that implicate not just minor celebrities, but some of the biggest names in the